Hello again, everybody. This is Rocket Rick J18, and today I'm going to talk with you about something which I think is unusual. At least it's unusual in my videos, and that is, you know, uh, we always focus on the great cards that we have or that we've picked up, and that's truly wonderful. I mean, it really is. But some of us also, maybe this is what do they used to call it, shoot, I can't remember the name of the term, but when you enjoy something that maybe maybe shouldn't, or you feel like you shouldn't. Um, anyway, uh, so this is a video about enjoyment of the hobby with cards that are not expensive. And so, one of the things that I've discovered is uh, modern cards of older players, maybe that haven't lived for a long time, or maybe they're still alive, but they haven't been playing in a long time. All kinds of variations on that theme, but there's a lot of cards out there of great players that cost peanuts, and in comparison with what their playing days cards might cost. And I am a fan of playing days cards. In fact, I tried to limit my pre-war acquisitions to playing days cards of Hall of Famers. Now, I don't exclusively do that, but that's the emphasis that I'm involved in. But recently I picked up some cards of a great player, a magnificent Yankee, uh, and that's Joe DiMaggio. And some of his cards are quite expensive, but I'm going to show you a few that are not very expensive. So, one thing I'm going to show you today is an art card, and some of these cards, other cards that I'm going to show you, are really fall into that category, I think. So let's turn down the camera, and cards that don't cost a lot of money, but which do uh, enhance my enjoyment of the hobby. And so one card that I'm going to show you here is a card that is from was created by my good friend Scott at Reindeer Studios, and I know that it's no secret to anybody that Scott is a magnificent artist, and so what is also uh, and what he's done, what Scott has done, is he's drawn some pictures, drawn some paintings or artwork, whether it's marker doodles or oil paintings or what have you, and then use those to make uh, cards. That can be uh, put in a binder with other cards, or you know whatever you would want to do with them. And so here is a card that he recently did of Roberto Clemente, and I think anybody would be proud to have this card in their collection, even though Scott charges $6 for it, and that's you know maybe towards the it's kind of in the middle of the cost of cards that I'm talking about today. They may go up maybe as high as $10 or $12, and maybe as low as $1. So I'm going to show you those. But first, I want to tell you about another card. If you haven't seen it yet, you need to see it. And that is a Scott's painting of Martin Dihigo. And he does it, kind of speeded up time, time lapse photography, whatever you want to call it. She's bumping into my stand here. So anyway, there are hardly any Martin Dihigo cards. Maybe only one of what might be considered a playing days card, maybe a couple, not very many, and they're tremendously expensive. But here's a chance where we can get a well crafted, truly work of art for $6. And I would really commend this to you because, first of all, Martin Dihigo is a great player. If you don't already know, he was a great Cuban star. Some people who have talked about him, Orlando, for example, has talked a lot about Martin Dihigo. Also, let's see. Well, I'll think of some others here in a minute. John Mangini's another one, and several others that just have researched this and discovered that Martin Dihigo was a magnificent athlete, perhaps one of the greatest of his day. And anyway, Roberto Clemente's in that category. So I really encourage you to take a look at some of Scott's work and see what he has done with this magnificent piece of art of Roberto Clemente and also of Martin Dihigo. So this card is a card created by Skaght, and it's just a wonderful example of his artistic ability. Here's another card that is a card which is a 1952 Topps card. It's in the high number series. This is card number 388, which means it's in the top 20 of cards from that set. Now these cards are all expensive, probably $100 to $150 is the least that you could expect to pay for one of these cards. And so I'm in the process of attempting to complete this last series, and so far I have 8 out of the 97, so I've got 89 to go. And this is Bob Chipman. He's a Boston Brave in this picture. The back looks really pretty good, I think. Honest corners, as Mike Petty would say. Centering's not perfect, but it's pretty good. And the surface is a little scuffed up, but it's a wonderful representative of this high number series, and I'm very happy to add it to my collection. Now, the next cards that I'm going to show you are inexpensive cards of one of the most, one of the greatest of the Yankees. He is certainly among the top 5 and I consider them to be, if you want my humble opinion, not all that humble, that Babe Ruth and Lou Gehrig are two of the greatest players in Yankee history. Another one is a guy who was started before the Second World War and finished after the Second World War, and that's Joe DiMaggio. A fourth one started before, after the Second World War, and finished, in my lifetime and in the lifetime of many, many, many other card collectors, and that's Mickey Mantle. And the fifth one, I think, is, again, Hall of Famer. All these guys are Hall of Famers. But the next one to join that, and he's already there, is Derek Jeter. Now, could others be in that panoply? Absolutely. Absolutely. There are many others. And whoever you would say, well, I would put him in there ahead of Jeter. That's fine. Everybody's got their own heroes. And so anyway, what I'm going to show you now are some Joe DiMaggio cards. And I'm going to start with the 1969 type card depicting Joe DiMaggio in an Oakland Athletics uniform. And the reason he's depicted in an Oakland Athletics uniform is that, of course, when the Athletics moved out to Oakland, that's in the Bay Area where Joe is from, and that's where he was living at the time. And so he was invited to come out and help with some spring training activities. And so he is on a Topps card as a coach, and I am going to say it's the 1970 Topps Oakland team card, and I think that's correct. And this card is kind of an homage to that card, the real Topps 1970 Topps card. So that's Joe in an Oakland A's uniform, and the back is kind of just a little cartoon, another photograph of Joe, black and white photograph, kind of cartoon, giving some information about his great career. And I think I paid $5 for this card. Here's another one. It's a 1968 model. Not that it was made in 1968, but rather that it looks like in the style of, I guess you would say. And again, here's Joe talking to some of the current Oakland A's players back in the time where he was coaching. And he's sitting there, obviously, passing on some of his knowledge to those young players. The next card I'm going to show you is a kind of an image which you would say if Joe was playing in 1964, this is what his card might have looked like. And I'm thinking I paid $1 for this card. I know that one of these cards that I'm going to show you was just cost $1. So here's in the back of it. It again kind of looks like the back of a 1964 card, but it has kind of like his playing days stats from his rookie year. Has a little quiz down at the bottom of the card. What pitcher won more games than any other left-hander and is descended from Italian royalty? And of course, this is speaking as of 1936, because I'm sure most of us know that the winningest left-handed pitcher in the history of Major League Baseball is Warren Spahn. He's the fifth winningest pitcher of either right or left-handed, and he's the winningest left-handed pitcher, number 5 in the category of wins with 363. So this is like the 1940 or 1964 card with 1936 stats. I'm getting tongue-tied there. Here's what his 1960 card might have looked like. And in the making of this card, it doesn't quite do it justice. He sort of has an elongated face there in the small portrait to the left of the photograph with Yankee Stadium in the background. But it's a pretty cool card. And on the back of this card, they don't look anything like the stats or back of that 1960 Topps card. But the front looks like it. Now here is one more card, which is it's actually a Topps Living card, but it's kind of in the style of a 1953 Topps card. And the reason that it looks askew here is that there's actually 2 of these cards in there because I bought 2 of them. These cost less per card than Topps charged when they came out new. I've got some Topps Living cards that I ordered from Topps, but these I just bought on eBay. And the back of it looks like the back of a 1953 Topps card. Again, it has stats, but they are not stats from 1953 because Joe didn't play in 1953. So those are cards of Joe DiMaggio, and I have a binder which I may show everybody one day. Actually, I have several. I've got 2 full binders, or 1 full binder and a partial binder of Mickey Mantle cards. I've got a binder of Derek Jeter cards, and I have another binder of Yankee cards, which have as a section of Joe DiMaggio, section of Babe Ruth, section of Lou Gehrig, and a section of Bernie Williams, who's one of my all-time favorite players. Back when he was playing, and the Yankees were winning those World Series that he participated in, I always referred to him as Big Bernie. And the reason that I did that is that Bernie was a clutch hitter unlike almost any other. And there were a lot of clutch hitters over the years with the Yankees, but Big Bernie's right there with all of them. And just always could be counted on a timely hit late in the game, or whether it was a home run or a double, or just a sacrifice fly or whatever it might be. And so anyway, those are the four binders that I have that are devoted to this type of card. Now they do have some playing days cards of various and sundry players, more of Derek Jeter and a few of Mickey Mantle. Not any Babe Ruths, not any Lou Gehrig's, or not any Joe DiMaggio's. Those are reserved for other places. Now, in these cards that I'm showing today, I have one more actual playing days card of a DiMaggio brother that's not Joe and not Dominic. And that is Vince DiMaggio. And here he is. This is a photograph that has been enhanced or tinted with colors, something in the style of I say somewhat in the style, I think, of the Diamond Stars set. This is a 1941 actual card from the 1941 play ball set, one of the 72 cards. And as far as I know, it's the only set in which all three DiMaggio brothers are featured. So Joe is card number 1. Dominic has his card in this set, along with the 1940 play ball set. They're both included in the 1940 play ball set. And Joe is included in the 1939 play ball set. I think Dominic is too, but Vince is only in this one. And so his card is probably artificially expensive because his name is DiMaggio. And of course, he's depicted as a player with the Pittsburgh Pirates. And this is PSA 5, one of the old grades, and I don't know whether it would be a 5 today. It probably would not be. It's got some discoloration around the border. The bottom two corners are a little weak, just a touch here and a touch there. The back looks pretty decent, although it's got a little, I don't know whether that's a printer's mark. I bought it already graded, so I don't know whether that's something between the card and the lens of the flip, or whether it's a mark that was added after the card was issued, or whether it's just a printer's mark. It could be any of those. All of those things are possible. So that's my Playing Days Vince DiMaggio card, which will join Brother Joe in my set of 1941 play balls. I hope to add the Dominic DiMaggio soon. And when I do, I'll show it to you. So anyway, these are just some cards that don't cost a lot of money, except for the Vince DiMaggio, which cost a couple $100, but which you can derive immense joy from if you are not a slave to Playing Days cards, and not even a slave to cards that are graded or whatever else they might be. I'm not offended by any of these cards. In fact, I enjoy them, and I wanted to say to you, if you're on a budget and can't afford to buy let's say a 1933 Gaudy Babe Ruth, or you know, 1939 or 1936 Worldwide Gum Joe DiMaggio. Um, it, and you still would like to have cards of those players, they're available, and you can get them. You can get them on eBay, cheap. So uh, that's my recommendation to you. And I'll show you the binders. I'll go through my binders, at least one of them with you, and just show you, you know, the range of cards that you can get, both current cards, that is to say, you know, cards that have been issued in top sets in recent years. Mickey Mantle, most famously, with card number 7, which began in the year after he passed away. Uh, that's a regular issue card. I mean, it's a regular Topps card, and they did that for quite a few years. I wish they still did it. I think it's a magnificent way to introduce the younger generation to you know, cards that they can get in a, you know, buying packs. You know, it's they can't get very many cards of Mickey Mantle buying packs, and it was a great thing when they did it. It's still a great idea, and believe me, there are a lot of cards that they could leave out that aren't nearly as valuable uh, to our young people as a card like that would be. A playing day, a playing days card, a regular issue card of a non-playing days player, just to show what he looked like when he was in the prime of his career. And anyway, that's enough of preaching. And if you're looking for a way to get cards inexpensively and get a lot of them, you know, I've got several hundred Mickey Mantle cards that mostly didn't cost much more than $5 or $6. Mostly didn't. With that in mind, this is Rocket Rick J18, hoping and wishing that all your collecting dreams come true.